Chapter 26. The Ascent. The gangway hummed beneath their feet. Elara stood at its base, looking up at the skycraft, its hull gleaming like captured dawn, sails whispering softly in currents too subtle to feel. She had walked this path countless times before, returning from routine surveys, inspections, quiet assignments. Never like this. Beside her, Kaelen stood still, gaze fixed upward, not with fear, but with something deeper. Reverence, perhaps, or disbelief. Above them stretched open sky, vast and pale, streaked with high drifting clouds. Sunlight touched his face. He closed his eyes. For a long moment he simply stood there, breathing. "It's warmer than I remember," he said quietly. Elara felt a small, unexpected smile tug at her lips. The sky likes to make a good first impression. Kaelen opened his eyes, faint amusement softening the usual gravity in his expression. "I see that." Commander Cirrus approached, her tone formal but measured. "We depart immediately," she said. "Transit to Aethelgard will take approximately 3 hours." She paused, just briefly, looking at Kaelen. "You will remain under observation," she added. Kaelen inclined his head. Understandable. Elara glanced between them, tension lingering, but no longer sharp, more like a cautious truce. "Let's go," she said softly. They stepped aboard. The interior of the skycraft glowed with soft ambient light, walls lined with intricate panels that pulsed faintly as energy flowed through hidden channels. Kaelen's eyes moved slowly, taking in every detail, the craftsmanship, the subtle hum of controlled power. "Your people build beautifully," he said. Elara felt a flicker of pride and something like guilt. "We always believed beauty meant harmony," she said quietly. Kaelen's gaze met hers. "Sometimes it still can." The vessel lifted smoothly, barely a vibration beneath their feet. Outside the wide viewing panels, the land fell away, memory stone plains shrinking into shimmering patterns far below. Elara felt the familiar sensation of ascent, a gentle lightness in her chest, but this time it was threaded with something heavier, responsibility. Beside her, the tether glowed faintly, steady and calm. Kaelen watched the horizon, eyes reflecting the growing brightness. "Tell me," he said softly, "what should I expect?" Elara considered. Curiosity, suspicion, and a lot of questions. He nodded. "I am accustomed to all three." She hesitated, then added quietly, "But also wonder." Hours passed in thoughtful quiet. As they rose higher, the sky deepened into a luminous blue, sunlight spilling across the deck in warm streams. Then Elara saw it. At first, just a glimmer, then a silhouette. Aethelgard. The floating city hovered among drifting cloud banks like a crown of light, towers spiraling upward, bridges arcing gracefully between luminous districts, gardens cascading in terraces of green and gold. Even now, breathtaking. But as they drew closer, Elara noticed what most would miss. Fine fractures traced along the outer rings, faint disruptions in the steady glow of light-gilding patterns. The city was hurting. Kaelen stepped closer to the viewing panel. For a long moment he said nothing. Then, quietly, "It's magnificent." Elara nodded, throat tight. "It is." He studied the subtle instabilities, eyes narrowing slightly. "And fragile," he added. Elara exhaled softly. "Yes." The skycraft glided toward one of the upper docking platforms, a wide circular terrace ringed with crystalline spires. As they approached, Elara saw figures already gathered, council envoys, engineers, guards. Word had spread. Cirrus straightened. "Prepare for arrival," she said. The docking clamps engaged with a soft metallic resonance. The gangway extended. Bright daylight spilled inside. Elara's heart pounded. "Ready?" she asked quietly. Kaelen looked at her, steady, calm. "As I will ever be." They stepped forward together. A hush fell across the platform as they emerged, dozens of eyes fixed on Kaelen, curiosity mingled with unease. Whispers rippled like wind through tall grass. "Elara, the Shadow King, the tether." Elara lifted her chin, meeting the crowd with quiet confidence. A robed figure stepped forward, High Counselor Maelis, her presence commanding, yet composed, silver robes shimmering faintly. "Elara," Maelis said, voice carrying easily, "you return with unexpected company." Elara inclined her head respectfully. "High Counselor." Maelis's gaze shifted to Kaelen. "So," she said calmly, "the stories were true." Kaelen met her eyes without hesitation. Stories often contain fragments of truth. Maelis studied him for a long moment. Then she looked at the tether. "Explain," she said simply. Elara took a breath. "The anchor is destabilizing. Both worlds are at risk. We need coordinated action." Murmurs spread among the gathered officials. Maelis's expression remained unreadable. "We will discuss this in council." As they began walking toward the inner terraces, Elara felt the subtle shift beneath her feet, a faint vibration through the luminous pathways. Another reminder. Time was running out. Kaelen walked beside her, sunlight catching in his dark hair. Citizens paused to watch, some wary, some curious, some quietly awed. Elara leaned slightly closer. "How does it feel?" she asked softly. He looked up at the open sky, endless blue stretching in every direction. "It likes remembering a forgotten part of myself," he said. Her chest warmed. Ahead, the great doors of the council hall opened slowly, light spilling outward like a silent invitation, or a test. Elara tightened her grip unconsciously, feeling the tether pulse in quiet reassurance. Together, they stepped inside. Far below, unseen currents stirred, and high above, within the city's radiant core, subtle instabilities spread like hairline cracks in glass, waiting.